All right, here you are with Emily and Heather Mack, and we're here to read you a couple of short stories from the Children's Beginner's Bible. The first story we're going to read is called Jesus Calms the Storm, and it comes from Matthew 8, verses 23 through 27. Jesus and his disciples got into a boat. They wanted to go across the sea. Jesus took a nap. The waves gently rocked the boat back and forth. Suddenly, a great storm came up. Waves splashed over the boat. Winds whipped around the disciples. They woke up and they shouted, "The boat is sinking, don't you care?" Jesus asked, "Why are you so afraid? Don't you have any faith at all?" Then Jesus told the storm to stop, and right away it was calm. The disciples were amazed. They said to each other, "Who is this man Jesus? Even the wind and the waves obey him." Our next story is called Jesus Feeds the Thousands, and it's from Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. It says, Jesus and the disciples were tired. They needed a quiet place to rest. So they got into a boat and they pushed off from the shore. A crowd followed the boat. Over 5,000 people had come to see Jesus. Even though he was tired, Jesus wanted to help them. He climbed out of the boat and he began to bless and heal many people. Later that day, the disciples said to Jesus, "It's getting late. The people should go home and eat dinner." Jesus replied, "We can feed them. See if anyone has any food to share." The disciples found one boy. He had 5 loaves of bread and 2 small fish. Jesus said, "Bring the boy to me." The disciple asked, "How will so little food feed this many people?" Jesus said, "You will see. Have the people sit down." Then Jesus took the bread and he gave thanks to God. His disciples gave bread and fish to everyone, and to their surprise, 12 baskets were left over. And then our last story is called Jesus Walks on Water, and it comes from Matthew, Mark, and John. Jesus told his disciples to go on ahead of him. Then Jesus walked up a mountainside to pray. Storm clouds filled the sky. Jesus could see the disciples in the boat. They were having trouble. The wind swooshed. The waves sloshed. The boat was tossed about. Suddenly, the disciples saw someone walking on the water towards them. They thought it was a ghost. Jesus called out to them, "It is I. Do not be afraid." The disciples still weren't sure. Peter said, "If you really are Jesus, let me walk out to you." And Jesus replied, "Come." Peter stepped out of the boat. He began walking on the water towards Jesus. Then Peter looked at the wind and the waves. He became afraid. Suddenly he started to sink. "Lord, save me," Peter cried out. Jesus reached out and he pulled Peter up. "Why didn't you trust me?" Jesus asked Peter. They climbed into the boat and the storm stopped. The disciples worshiped Jesus. They said, "You truly are the Son of God."